Well, football season's just around the corner, and all hope is springing eternal. What do you mean? Wait a minute, what? What do you mean Zach Wilson hasn't signed his contract? What do you mean the team may not be fully vaccinated? What are you talking about? Why hasn't he signed a contract? All right, everybody, welcome aboard here to the Sports Talk Nation. Michael Cohen here with you, and of course, we are back here on the Sports Talk Nation. Football season is indeed around the corner as it is time to talk about NFL training camp. And to this video, we are going to do the top 5 storylines that face the New York Jets here for training camp here in 2021. Remember, folks can follow us online at OpenMicNJ on Twitter, Facebook.com/OpenMicProgram, or remember to like and subscribe right here to the Sports Talk Nation. So let's get right into it. The Jets are coming off a very eventful offseason. New head coach, new personnel, a lot of new players, new quarterback, and a lot of optimism. Throughout the offseason, the Jets changed the look, changed their dynamic from being kind of a milquetoast, bland franchise under Adam Gase to being more of a headline grabber here with Robert Salah now coming in to lead this team. And hey, look, the Jets took a lot of bows during the spring. I mean, we saw a lot of players going to Islander games. We saw Robert Salah going to Knick games, and I guess in a lot of ways they had full attendance in minicamp, even non-mandatory minicamp. They had full attendance. So I guess in a lot of ways you can say that the Jets were the mini-camp champions. But now, as we all know, mini-camp can only go so far. Now the real thing is about to begin here with training camp, and we cannot wait. So let's go into this. The 5 storylines we got to talk about here going into the training camp and into the 2021 season. Number 5. Will the secondary show improvement in 2021? And this is a big concern for the Jets going into this season. They have a lot of issues in the secondary. Obviously, one of the bigger headlines being Marcus May and his contract negotiation with the Jets, which hit a stalemate in the last couple of weeks. But he's going to be there. He's going to be in the secondary. But the question is, what do they have around him? They don't have a lot of veteran players there. They have a lot of young guys. They're trying. They're really kind of experimenting. When you got Ashton Davis back there, Bless Austin, Bryce Hall. You talk about the number of kids they drafted this year, like Michael Carter the second out of Duke. So they are going with a very young, youthful movement in the secondary. That could either you could see someone step up and become a big-time starter for this team or a star for this team. That's what you would hope for if you are the Jets, if you are Robert Salah and Joe Douglas, or it could spell trouble throughout the course of the year. Right now, obviously, the Jets if you are a Jet fan, you would like to have seen this team address the secondary and the cornerback market a little bit more aggressively during the offseason. That wasn't the case. Now, there isn't a lot out there as far as free agency is concerned. Obviously, one of the more notable players out there, Richard Sherman, is dealing with his own legal issues. I think you can kind of forget about that. DJ Hayden is another veteran player out there. Do the Jets want to go out there and try to bring him in? And who knows what players could end up getting cut, for that matter, in training camp. But you're not going to see a big-time star get cut in training camp, for that matter, and just be available just like that. So this will be a position to watch, especially at cornerback, where there isn't a lot of experience. So that is the number 5 storyline for the Jets heading into training camp. Number 4. Will C.J. Mosley return to full strength? C.J. Mosley basically missed the better part of the last 2 years. What kind of football shape will he be in, and what kind of impact will he have? Now, when he was healthy at the start of the 2019 season, there was no question he was a game changer, one of the better players on this defense. He, in fact, was a difference maker in that opener for the Jets before he got injured in 2019 against Buffalo. Had the big interception that brought back for a touchdown, had 6 tackles in that game. He was a disruptive force. Losing him really changed the complexion of that defense for the rest of that season. And, of course, last year decided to opt out of the season due to COVID-19. But he decided not to play last year. So what kind of football shape is he going to be in this year? And what kind of impact will he have? Will it be anywhere near where the Jets thought the kind of player the Jets thought they were getting a couple of years ago when they signed him to a big contract as a free agent after he left the Baltimore Ravens? So he is going to be a very, very big storyline in how he plays and how this defense plays around him. Guys like Carl Lawson, even the secondary for that matter, are going to feed off of how well he plays throughout the course of the summer and how he plays throughout the 2021 season. So he is going to be obviously a very big headline going forward here in 2021. Number 3, were the additions by Joe Douglas enough to get the Jets back on track? Did Joe Douglas do enough to make this team competitive for 2021? Now, let's take a look. They obviously changed the quarterback, which we're going to talk a little bit more about in just a little bit. With Sam Darnold leaving, Zach Wilson coming in, you go out there, you draft Michael Carter, running back out of North Carolina, who is a very speedy back, good player. I would like to see what he's going to bring to the table this year. The Jets go out there, they bring in Corey Davis, who is not necessarily a number 1 receiver, but could be in this Jet offense. They draft Elijah Moore, who is exciting a lot of people with his speed and his ability to create plays down the middle of the field. They bring back, after negotiations over his contract, they bring back Jamison Crowder. So there are a lot of weapons for Zach Wilson to throw to this year as compared to last year with Sam Darnold. They also addressed the offensive line, drafting Elijah Vera-Tucker, who was going to sit right next to Mekhi Becton on the left side of the offensive line, going out and signing Morgan Moses, right tackle, formerly the Washington football team. Very good, bold move. He'll be starting at right tackle. So there are improvements here to this team. It should be a better offensive make anyway going into this season. So it will be an improved team. Will it be enough for them to, let's say, leapfrog one of these teams like the Dolphins in the division? Probably not. But this is going to be an improved offense and certainly an improved team, you would have to think. Granted, there are issues. There's still concerns. You want to say, let's say, at right guard, for that matter, with Greg Van Roten. You want to say there are obviously concerns, as we brought up earlier, with the secondary, especially at cornerback. There are certainly those glaring issues moving forward, but this is going to be a rebuild over the next couple of years. So for this year, the question is the pieces that that Joe Douglas did bring in here, especially on the offensive side of the ball, how do those guys gel together, and do they make a difference and give this team an outlook that they could be a very potent football team and a good football team and a destination for future free agents for years to come? That's going to be the big question moving forward from that standpoint. So that's more of a seasonal thing, more than just training camp, but we're going to start to see that come together here in training camp. Number 2, what kind of head coach will Robert Salah be? It's kind of a hard question to ask when you're in training camp. You know, we're going to have 3 preseason games. You can't really gauge much in preseason. For that matter, and this is more of a regular season question for that when you think about it, but we're going to start to see what kind of coach he is, because let's be honest, you go from Adam Gase to really anybody. I mean, think about this. You see this. This is a brick. My point is this. This brick is better than Adam Gase as a coach. Okay? Now, that's not a slap at Robert Salah or anybody else. My point is, when you're coming off of a bad couple of years as the Jets had under Adam Gase, certainly any kind of change would have been a welcome improvement. And I think what the Jets did bring in Robert Salah, a guy who can motivate players, a guy who gets players excited to be on the football field. I mentioned earlier the full attendance at minicamp earlier this year. Granted, it is minicamp, I understand that, but still that is a big thing to see all the most of the players, like 80 players, show up for minicamp, they want to play for this coach, and we'll see what kind of coach he is. Is he, as he's going to be a player coach? Is he going to be a player's coach, kind of in the mold of a Herman Edwards, who can be sort of a disciplinarian at the same time, or is he going to be a player coach, kind of in the mold of a Rex Ryan, who's going to let guys do whatever the heck they want? We're going to find that out, and we'll see how he does as far as managing the clock, how he delves out responsibilities as far as offense and defense is concerned, how much involved he's going to be in both sides of the ball. These are things we're going to find out over the course of the year, and I think from the Jet fan standpoint, it's exciting to see a new coach in charge of this football team, and one who gives off the vibe of a man who is in command compared to Gase, who, well, it just felt like he was on borrowed time. Felt like everybody was on borrowed time the last couple of years with the New York Jets. And now the number one storyline going into 2021. I can't imagine what this would be. Number one, the development of Zack Wilson. Drafted number 2 overall, as we all know, by this Jet team. They decided to go with him, and I know we've had this debate. A lot of fans had the debate earlier in the offseason. Stick with Sam, draft Zack Wilson, draft Justin Fields. The Jets decide to go with Zack Wilson, and they like a lot of his intangibles. Has a pretty big arm, makes a lot of plays off platform. And, of course, everyone says he has a very good mental makeup for the game. And that was really the take out of minicamp, was that he had a very solid camp. Now, unfortunately, he is going to, right now, starting the training camp, I don't want to actually call it a holdout, but he hasn't signed his contract yet, as they are debating, the Jets and Zack Wilson's people, offset language. Now, this is nothing new. This has happened before. The Jets had this issue with Sam Darnold several years ago when he was the rookie quarterback in 2018, and after a couple of days into camp, they finally agreed to a contract, and who heck, by the time you see this, the contract might be done for that matter. But it is a bit of an annoying sticking point that the quarterback who's going to be the focal point of this team isn't in camp yet. But once he gets here, all the focus will be on him, his development, and how well he can progress, as he's going to now start to put on pads. He's going to start to get hit a little more in training camp. And, of course, the Jets are going to play the Packers and the Eagles in training camp as well in different scrimmages. So he's going to have other teams hitting him. How is he going to do throughout the summer in his first NFL training camp? And remember, there is as of right now, no veteran quarterback with experience behind him. And that is a concern right now going into the season. And another aspect that we have to talk about also with Zack Wilson and his development is how he is going to work with the offensive coordinator, Mike LaFleur, of course, coming over here from the San Francisco 49ers. They're putting together an offense that is going to fit the traits of Zack Wilson, his ability to make plays on a run, his ability to use play action and to create plays off platform. They're going to do a lot of that. How LaFleur and Wilson are able to get on the same page, stay on the same page through the tough times, and work things out is going to be huge in his development as a quarterback, because we saw with even Sam Darnold over the years, didn't have a lot of continuity as far as the offensive coordinator is concerned. This time around, the Jets plan on having that continuity here with Mike LaFleur, so he's going to be a big part of his development. Also, we have to mention the passing of Greg Knapp. After that tragic accident, he was the passing game coordinator, and a lot of people have written about how he had a big impact on Zack Wilson and his recruitment. What kind of impact will that have as far as LaFleur and the rest of the Jets coaching staff picking up where even Knapp left off, for that matter? So a lot will be looked upon, not just Wilson, but also this coaching staff and how they're able to gel and work together. His development is going to be the storyline of the entire summer. It's going to be the storyline of the entire season, all about Zack Wilson. So those are your 5 storylines going into training camp, folks. Zack Wilson's development, Robert Salah, what kind of head coach is he going to be over the course of the year? All the weapons, all the moves that Joe Douglas made this year, will they pay off, and was it enough? For C.J. Mosley, is he ready to rock and roll this year? What kind of impact will he have? And what will this secondary look like for this Jet team? Those are all big storylines going into camp, going into the season. It's like 90 degrees outside, and football is just around the corner. We're ready to go. I hope you are too. We'll talk to you next time, folks. Remember, we got more content coming. We'll do a top 5 storylines for the Giants as well. And what the heck is going on here with this Aaron Rodgers story, which gets weirder and weirder and weirder and weirder. And also the trade deadline is nearing for Major League Baseball. We'll talk about that over the course of the next several days. A lot of content's coming your way. I'm telling you, you're going to want to like and subscribe. And we'll talk to you next time.